Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Hayoim Tisho ve'esrim yoim sheim arba'a shavuos v'yoim echad. Fill in, exactly. Yishai Norris from Buffalo, New York. Thank you, as always, for your amazing share on the theme of today's daf about the importance of paying poor workers, even if they cause damage. Here's an interesting illustration of how this can be positive, have positive impacts. I once watched a video of a former neo-Nazi skinhead who radicalized and now helps others leave extremist groups. I teach a class about terrorism. This is why I watch these kind of videos. Anyway, after the neo-Nazi left prison, he had a few job prospects. However, he got a job at a furniture store. His boss was Jewish. One day, the neo-Nazi made a mistake that cost the business thousands of dollars. He was very worried about what would happen. But the Jewish boss gave him his paycheck as usual and didn't make a big deal about the mistake. The neo-Nazi was very grateful for the boss's kindness. And this was one of the factors prompting him to completely reject his former anti-Semitism. Just thought I'd share an example in case this is of interest. Koltov Yishai Norris, Buffalo, New York. Your Talmud forever, Jeff Haskell. Talmud forever. Dear Belly, I've been learning with you and the MDY family since the end of Brachas. Cruise, yes, l'chayra. During the first 7 or 8 months, I missed a few shurim here and there. However, the emphasis on the need of consistency of being about the Yomi gradually seeped in and gained even more importance. I didn't realize how dear doing the daf has become to me until just now. As I write this, it's a nice one, Rabbi Isai, listen nicely. I find myself sitting shiva for my dear sister Rivka Bat Chaim, who was niftar on Erev Shabbos. It's quiet now in between waves of visitors. I think back to the briefing my Rav gave me just before the Kvura. With the exception of halachas relating to mourning, my Rav told me I would be prohibited from doing the daf or engaging in any other kind of learning throughout Shiva. The first thought that popped into my head was that I would be cut off from you and the rest of the MDY family for a week. I was wholly unprepared for and totally shocked by the feeling of deep sadness that followed. What wouldn't have been a big deal just a few years ago now brought me tsar. When I tried to pinpoint the reason for my feelings, I realized how every daf completed fills me with a sense of accomplishment and a sense of progress, meaning, and purpose. I realized how every daf completed fills me with a sense of accomplishment, a sense of progress, meaning, and purpose. I also abruptly realized how doing the daf has become a centerpiece of my day and how big a hole its absence makes. Thank you for not only doing the daf, but for making me love doing the daf. I look forward, B'ezrat Hashem, to rejoining you and the rest of MDY family after I get up from Shiva. Your Talmud forever, Jeff Haskell.
Very nice.
Dear Belly, I hope your son is okay. I know this was Israel, but I will tell you what would happen in most states. This is Ari Freeman, personal injury attorney in Los Angeles. No, hey, Ari Freeman, Shlomo Lazarian, I hope he's on the group. Eitan G, I hope he's on the group. If not, you better get him in there. Number 1, the person turning their car is responsible to ensure the sidewalk is clear. Number 2, if there is a law that requires scooters to ride only on the street, then your son may have partial liability. Most states allow comparative negligence evaluations. What percentage is the car versus the scooter at fault? My analysis would be, depends on the scooter's speed. The scooter on sidewalk laws are created more for the safety of pedestrians on the sidewalk. If the scooter is going a speed similar to a bicycle, around 50 miles an hour or less, the car should be on a better lookout. Above those speeds, it's hard for the car to see a scooter on the side. The guy's saying a lot of things that we discussed, a lot of good svara here. So in my opinion, if I had this case, I'd push for 90-10 liability in favor of your son. He's saying they're both poishim. He shouldn't have turned, he shouldn't have been on the sidewalk, but there's more of a liability. The Gemara talks about like 50-50 if they're both negligent. He's saying, what?
That's a different issue, but that's irrelevant. I don't think that's irrelevant to the conversation.
He said he's speaking about the. That doesn't say that he's allowed to kill people that are doing something illegal. So okay, so how negligent is the guy turning? Okay, in some, if speed's under 50 miles, but probably 50-50 over that speed, best, Ari Freeman, personal injury law attorney, it's Hamazim Chaver Levraya. Then he has to bring a raya that he was going over that amount. The kids, sir, huh? He wants me?
Take it.
Who, my son? Oh, yeah, we chab that. He's only registered in Los Angeles.
First consultation is free.
The car should pay all. Emotional distress. Do we have a case, Harry? Do you have a case for emotional distress? I think his neck was hurting him shtickle the other day.
That's physical.
Yaakov Moshe Goldschmidt is the guy that did the drawings yesterday but he did it himself. It was the first time he ever used that program, 1 a.m, the 3D. So Yishkoyach Yaakov Moshe. Chemi Jacob says, congrats to everyone in the cycle who'll be 1,600 daf into Shas with today's daf Pei Daled. And from Rabbi Mati Kos, the guy that I did not change his life. In Rabbi Yaakov Haber's book on Omer, one of the action points for the day is to donate a Torah book to a shul or a study group. I just donated a Gemara to the MDY study group. Hope others can join me. This is mitzvahs, matas. Not going to get into the PS, not going to get into the topic of changing lives this time. Rabbi Mati Kos. I don't know, that to me that seems like a change. Could have given it to any other place. He gave that's a change. He's changing slowly. The Masechta, sponsored anonymous to the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Mati, no. I don't care what you say. I'm looking at the Metzias. You're a changed man from the time that you ate by me, the Sudas Purim. Look at you. You're a whole different Gavra. He's laughing out loud. You weren't donating Sfarm then to MDY. Brain intact, unleash your full potential, should be Zoche, the Nachas Kedusha, and tremendous success in all my endeavors. Sparnas Hayoim, the second one, in honor of my daughter being accepted to school. We should all think about it for a second, what it means to have a kid that doesn't get accepted to school. We have Mark Ashkenazi who moved. Pasha moved from Muncie to Phoenix, Arizona, bought another home, moved, and he has to commute now so that his daughter has a school that she loves, and she does. She's very Metzia. People go through this. Shidduchim, schools, the tzaras of our generation. Rabbi Isai, today is Daf Pei Daled. We're starting the last words on Pei Gimel Amud Beis. Some of the most famous stories of Agadata and Shas. Many of you are familiar with the story of Rish Lakish jumping over the river when he was a listim, when he was a robber, then he became a Bal Tshuva. These famous stories and more. Some of the most interesting Gemaras I could say. We're starting out with the Gemara that I cannot explain. I don't know if anybody in the room could explain. We're going to read it. Pretend we understand it. Just remember, has a lot of these kind of Gemaras have Ramazim, Kabbalah, which we don't pretend to understand. Rabbi Shmuel Bar Rabbi Yosi also was appointed by the government to catch thieves. MMA he caught a lot of Jewish thieves. There was a big problem in those days. We once had that the Rav Yisrael or Kol Yisrael, the Ganavim, whatever, one of these, thievery is a thing. And if you caught a Ganav and gave him to the authorities, what would they do? They would hang him, kill him. Eliyahu Navi bumps into him. When are you going to stop killing HaKadosh Baruch Hu's children? What should I do? The king demands that we give a quota. Your father ran away to Asya. So you run away to Lulutkia. Also, I don't know. I'm sure there's pshatim here, what it means and how. And sometimes you just have to read. Yeah.
Today's Pesach Sheni.
Today is Pesach Sheni.
Somebody gonna do stuff. There's a second chance. Giving you material, man.
Lead the horse to water.
Big day for
So 1 minute. So if you are not watching the daf because you don't do the daf, today's another chance to start. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, fine. I hear. Send this clip to your friend. It's Pesach Sheni. You could always start doing the daf. And also you could eat matzah today if you want. You could. There's always a second chance for Rav Klai Yisrael. You have a makli, Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi say the famous quote of the Gemara, where Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yosef. Interesting that it's both Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yosef, and Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Shimon. The two people mentioned in the Gemara that they caught the thieves. Both of them, when they got together, they were so heavy. Here, we even have a picture, shtickle, just to explain what's going on here. 2 bulls would be able to walk underneath their stomach. Now, it doesn't say underneath the stomach. Okay, I get their stomach is very large, but they were that tall that they would go. So, l'chayra, we're talking about a guzma here, which a lot of the Gemara is mefurish in the Achrayim. The Marsha says a lot of the Lashonis are guzma. Ayil bakr the Torah beinayu v'lehav nogabuhu. Ari, you don't have to take a picture of the screen. You can get it in your WhatsApp, mamish, on high quality, huh?
I don't have too many WhatsApps. I don't recommend.
You don't have too many Torah ones, do you?
No, too many Torah WhatsApps.
Oh, Torah.
Is it because they were eating? Because they were
What?
rich?
Rich? What's that?
They had a good job.
That's why what?
They were very fit to eat.
I don't know. I don't know why people are heavy. Ayil bakr the Torah beinayu v'lehav nogabuhu. And they not only did the cattle go underneath them, it didn't even touch them. That's how big they were. Amar lahu ahi matrinisa. So a chashav goya says to them, "B'neichem enam shalochem." It's impossible for you to have relations with your wife, so your children are not yours. Mamzerim. Amru la shalahen gadol mishalanu. Their stomach is larger than our stomach, which creates a larger question. The question is even more. Or Rashi says, their taiva is greater. Kolchke. So even if their taiva is greater, so then certainly they have mamzerim. They went to some other man. That every person, his body is how do you say yachasit? It's proportional. So his aver is proportional to his body. When you have a lot of love, it pushes away the basar. Whatever that means. Why do you have to answer such a taina? You just keep on walking. Somebody says a terrible thing to you, you keep on going. She was saying that their children are mamzerim, so you have to answer that. This is who we're talking about, Rabbi Shmuel Bar Yosi. So Rashi and Tosfos both learned that we're talking about a zaver, the bris, a large teisha kabin. Says Tosfos over here. Why would the Gemara talk such lashonos? So there shouldn't be rumors about the children. It's 5 kav. I remember about shloishes kav, only 3 kav. The Rapapa Gufei. What about Rapapa himself who's saying this? 6 kav, like a basket of 6 kav. I'm left over mishapir Yerushalayim. From the beautiful people of Yerushalayim that had like a shine, a glow. We'll see, he had a glow. If you want to understand what his glow was, he had a certain light, a glow that came off his face. So I wanted to do a real live demonstration. The problem is there are no, Tomer tells me he ran around, there are no pomegranates around. So I'm going to take a silver vessel that just came out of the oven basically, and it's lit up like a yellow, has a glow, a yellow-red glow that came out of the fire. Fill it up with red pomegranates, circle it with red roses, put it in the sun in a place where where the sun hits and the shade on the other side. So the glow that goes on the ground, maybe on the left corner of this picture, like a reddish hue, whatever that yellow, red hue, that's what came off his face.
Don't try it at home.
I want to try it here, but whatever. Milsa. Vinamali parts diayo durumona, take the seeds of a pomegranate, sumka red, unahadele klilo devardo, sumka lupume, and take red roses and put it around. Vanoisve bein shimsha letula, and put it between the sun and the shade. Ahu zaharure, and that hue that you get me'ain, it's similar to the shufri of the Rabbi Yochanan. So you're telling me that Rabbi Yochanan had some sort of glow coming off his face, but it doesn't fit into this. Eini. Shufri de Rav Kahana. Rav Kahana had a glow. It was a mashu, it was like a mushal, me'ain shufri de Ribavo. More like a mushal to how the glow of Ribavo. Shufri de Ribavo, main shufri de Yaakov Avinu. I found it very interesting. We're jumping from a Tana all the way to Yaakov Avinu, like no one in between had a shufri. Ribavo had one. We mention all the time in Shas, Ribavo, we have no clue. He had a glow. similar to the glow of Yaakov Avinu. Shufri de Yaakov Avinu, me'ein shufri de Rishon, perfect human. He had a real glow. V'ilu Rabbi Yochanan, how come Rabbi Yochanan is not in the list? Chanie Rabbi Yochanan, the Hadras Ponim Le'Havelei. Rabbi Yochanan didn't have a beard. I'm going to get like 25 emails now. You see, we love the beard. You should keep the beard. It's Mardik, the beard. During Sphere all the time. I got it already. Don't worry. Rabbi Yochanan didn't have a beard, so he's not in the list. We're talking about people with the beards, and they have this glow.
Sorry if you don't have a beard.
What? Well, he didn't have a choice. He didn't have a choice. Yosef, you love him? No, it's not that he shaved his beard. He didn't have a beard. He didn't have a choice. Of course. As we're talking about. How do you know Moshe Rabbeinu wore a yarmulke? Well, you think he didn't wear a yarmulke? How do you know Rabbi Yochanan didn't? He think he shaved? Rabbi Yochanan, of course not. Rabbi Yochanan have also Yosef Ashari Tefillah, famous Gemara. Rabbi Yochanan would stand there, sit there in front of the mikvah. Omar Kisalkon Benois Yisrael Tefillas Mitzvah. Live Gubi. When the women come out, they should see me. Ki heichad b'nei shapir gavasi. They should have beautiful children like myself. Gemiria reise gavasi, who learn Torah. So the Marsha says here, this is the idea of what Yaakov Avinu did to the sheep. He showed them something before they were nizdakik, and basically what you think about during relations has a hashpa on the child. So if the mother thinks about Torah, so her kid becomes a Talmud Chacham. You're not concerned about an ayin hara sitting there with all your beauty and people are looking at you and saying how beautiful. I'm a descendant of Yosef. There's no ayin ra. Bein Peiros Yosef, the charming, the chain of Yosef. Bein Peiros Aliyoyim. Interesting. This is the Rebavo that has a glow. It's above the ayin, above the ayin ra. So Reb Chaim Pelagi, he has a sefer called, you're not going to believe it, Chofetz Chaim. Also, he has a sefer called, it was before the Chofetz Chaim. In his sefer, he says, beautiful. He says that Rabbi Yochanan was saying that he's completely immersed in Torah. He's thinking in Torah. So they asked him, you're not worried about ayin ra? What about when you go to a place, women, mikvah? It's a place that you can be nichshal. He says, I'm like Yosef Atzadik. Yosef Atzadik also was by Putifar, he had all his nisyonis, but his mind was in a very high place. He was thinking the whole time about Hakadosh Baruch Hu and learning that. So that Torah saves you from the ayin ra. I'm not concerned about the other nisyonis. Interesting. I was with the Yossi client until 12:30. We was meetings from this person, that person. So he told me, maybe he doesn't want me to tell people, so that's why I'll tell everybody. So I'll give people chizuk. He said that with the tools that MDY gave him, he was able to be shomer inayim on his trip from here to there. He was very excited. He learned 4 daf of Gemara. He didn't have an assignment. He had a little assignment. He wanted to watch a movie. He saw his friends watch, but he didn't watch. He didn't watch movies. So you have the tools. You have the thing. You don't have the ayin hara. You with Torah. Rabbi Yosef Rechanino Amar Mehacha. Another source. V'yid gularai v'kerev haaretz. Ma dogim sheviyah mayim chasim oisam ve'ina ayin shalez b'hem. Fish don't have ayin hara. Why? They're protected by the layer of the water, or perhaps you don't even see them, but there's a certain protection. Avzar sheyosef ve'ina ayin shalez b'hem. The ayin hara cannot control a person that is descendant of Yosef. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan was swimming in the Jordan River. So they explain, Rish Lakish saw a person with a glow, without a beard. He thought it was a woman. He jumped into the river. So we have a little bit of a depiction here. Stop. Here's Rabbi Yochanan with the glow. Here goes. Boom. Okay, so we'll leave it over there. Yeah, this is Rish Lakish before he did tshuva. You should use your koyach for Torah. In other words, l'chayra means, the simple pshat I think would be, You have such strength. You have such physical strength. You're able to jump so far. If you channel, if you channel your koiches for Torah, you'd be unbelievable. Take a kid who has crazy ADD, whatever. Instead of giving up, you channel it to Torah. Channel it to the right thing. The Maharsha says a little differently. He says that if a person has issues, whatever the issues are, he's a Bal Taiva, he just jumped into the river for Naveira, so go to Torah. Torah saves people, not that you should channel your koiches, but the Torah could save you from different taivas they have, different things. Says the Gemara, Omar lei, shufrach l'nashim. I just found it interesting that from the first moment that they met, which is right here, there was always like a back and forth with them. This guy, he shtacht him, you should use the koich to Torah, you should use your beauty for women. And then that was their relationship basically their whole life. He said this, he argued, until the Gemara is going to show that their final argument was a shtach back, and they both died from the shtach. Says the Gemara, Omer lei, Yehadris Bach, if you do tshuva, so Taisus points out, according to Taisus at least, that Rish Lakish went to yeshiva once upon a time. He went off the derech. And he's telling him in Hadras Bach, if you do tshuva, not if you learn Torah, if you become about tshuva, I have a sister that's more beautiful than me. You marry her. Kabel alei. He accepted upon himself Torah. And this is the idea that when a person accepts upon himself, it's Zoche in Gemara right here. He didn't learn Torah. He accepted Torah in his mind. Nobody else knew this besides he himself. That was it. That's tshuva just in your mind. And that makes a change in your physical body. Torah weakens a person. But over here it says that he accepted upon himself to become about tshuva. He wanted to go back, grab his clothing. Here, see what happens here. He has a Gemara in his hand. He's already about tshuva. Poof, he fell back in. Akri v'asnei. So Rabbi Yochanan taught him Torah, taught him Mishnayos, b'shavyo gaver rabba, and he made him into a huge person, into a gadol. And this explains the next line. Rabbi Yochanan made him into a gadol, to the point that Rabbi Shlokish argues with him in the whole Shas, and sometimes we even pass him like Rabbi Shlokish. Yom Echad, they had a big argument. Hasayif hasakin, a sword, a knife. So this is the best I can come up with. Two types of spears. The one on the left is for animals, to hunt animals. The one on the right is more of an antique spear from war, military spear. Different types of spears. We know what it is, but I brought it anyway. Why not have one of these? I love it. Shmat. When does this become tamei? So the halacha is that a blade or any kli becomes tamei when you're done making it. Gemar melacha, when it's finished. What is the gemar melacha as to Gemara? Umagul yad, umagul kotzer, another type of sickle. Meimasa mekabel tuma mishas gemar melachton. When you finish fashioning them. Umeimasa gemar melachton. And when is that? When you put it in the final time, you put it in the oven again and again, and you harden it the final time. You gotta polish it in water. Why polish? Because that's part of the fear they instill in your enemy. It's not a nice shiny sword. I'm gonna knock your head off with this. You don't have to do anything. You just have to make a lot of noise. It's part of its power. Imagine you show your enemy this. Here, I'm gonna kill you with this rusty thing. No. I've seen it nice and shiny. It glitters in his eye. He runs. Omar Lei, listen to this. This is the end of it. This is the end of the whole relationship, of the Chavrusa Shaft, of all of Shas. Lista bilistiyuse yoda. You're a robber. You know your tools. I take it back. You are right. I'm wrong. Rish Lakish was offended. What are you reminding me that I used to be a thief? I used to be a robber. That's the way to talk to somebody as great as me, as Rish Lakish. Omar Lei, Umaya honestly. What did I gain from you? A lack of Hakaras Hatov. What did I gain from you? Hasam Rabbi Karli, I was the head of all the thieves over there. I was great. Hacha Rabbi Karli, I know, and here in Yeshiva also they call. I gained nothing from you. Omerlei, what do you mean? Ahani loch da karvinach tachas kanfe eshchina. I brought you close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Says the Gemara, Cholish daite der Rebbe Yochanan couldn't believe what he said. After all this, I made you a gadol, and you tell me I didn't do anything for you. Cholish Rish Lakish became very sick. Asoya chase. So Rabbi Yochanan's sister comes to Rabbi Yochanan, who happens to be Rish Lakish's wife, Kobachia. Taisus talks about marrying somebody to do tshuva. It's not the right thing to do. Rish Lakish didn't have that in mind. I saw others that say other. Okay. Omer lei asay b'shvil banai. Don't let him die. I'm going to have Yisoymim here. Omer lo, don't worry about the Yisoymim. Ozvi Yisoymach ani echaya. I'll take care of the Yisoymim. In other words, he gave up on Rish Lakish. He said, he has no way out of this. He's going to die. Asay b'shvil al-manusi. What about me? An almana. Omer lo, b'almanui secha, olai tiftachu. I'll take care of the almana. Noch nafshi the Rav Shimon Lakish, he indeed died. V'havakom et star, Rabbi Yochanan basrei tuva. Rabbi Yochanan was his chavrus, so they learned, as Gemara is going to explain in a second, he had tremendous tsar. Or Rabbana man lezel leitvi ledaite. Who's going to calm him down? He's going crazy, literally. Nezel Rebbe Lozav ben Medas, and I'm saying this based on the Gemara soon. Gemara says he went crazy. Nezel Rebbe Lozav ben Medas the Mechad and Shmaitzi. We have to find him another chavrusa like Rish Lakish. Who could fill in Rish Lakish's shoes in chavrusa shaft? Rebbe Lozav ben Medas, he's a genius. Ozal Yosef Kamei, he sat in front of Rabbi Yochanan, Kol Misl Dehava Omer Rabbi Yochanan. Everything Rabbi Yochanan said, Omer Lei, Tanya Dem Sailach. Oh yeah, you mechaven to the Rashba. You mechaven to this Gemara. You mechaven to this Brisa. Omar, Atke Bar Lakisha, Shkoyach. You're telling me that I'm mechaven. I don't want people to tell me I'm mechaven. When I would say something to the Rish Lakish, I would actually Esrim Arba Kushiosa. He would ask me 24 questions. And I would answer him 24 answers on his 24 questions. That's how we got down. We went down to the bottom of the halacha. This is how we figured things out. He would ask good questions. I would answer. It made me think. All you could do is say, oh, you mechaven. How is that going to help me? I don't know that I'm saying good. I'm not just making this stuff up. I'm saying from my Rebbe. I'm saying from Brises. I don't need you to tell me that I was mechaven. He ripped his clothing and he was crying. Like everything else on this daf, there's hundreds of pirushim and things. There's marshas 2 pages long. On this line also, why did he go rip his clothing? When did he rip his clothing? What happened? Says the Marsha, when he said these words, he realized, Rish Lakish is not my Talmud, he's my Rebbe. He taught me. He has big questions. Those questions brought me to another level of Torah. Oh, I have to rip Kriya. V'amar, heicha ad bar Lakisha. Heicha ad bar Lakisha. Where are you, Rish Lakish? Where are you? V'avakot tzavach. And he was screaming. At the shof daite minei, says Rashi, nishtata. He became a shaita. He lost his mind. Pasha lost his mind from tsar. Bo rabbanon rachamei alei, and there's like I said, dozens of pshatim. Rabbanim, they daven. What are they daven? They daven that he should die. V'noch nafshe, and the tefillos were answered. So why not daven that he should live? Pshatim, it wouldn't help. He would live. He would become normal. And then he realized, where's Rish Lakish? And then he become a Meshuggah again. It would just be a vicious cycle. It's unbelievable. Could you daven that a person dies? So there's the famous Ran in the Dharam. Ran in the Dharam says that when a person is at the end of his life and he's just in Yisurim Neraim, I'm just reminded because I was at my mother's kever last week, past Sunday, the Yartzeit, and that's like, I think the first thing it says on her kever, she's nifter b'yisurim b'hava. She's makal b'yisurim b'hava. So, a person, it's really for Amud Beis. We're getting there in a second. But a person that has tremendous yisurim, they're going the crazy agony, and then they give them the morphine and everything, and it doesn't work at the end. Pasha doesn't work. So, the Ran says, you don't daven that they should live, you daven they should die a peaceful death. But a lot of people argue, and Ramesh Shafani says it's not true. Ramesh Shafani says don't do it. La halacha, it's not brought anywhere, etc. But over here you see the idea that they did daven that he should be nifter, Daf Pedalid Amud Beis. What? Yeah, but that's not how they explain it. And they bring from here rayas. Daf Pedalid Amud Beis. Shalom Aleichem Tzadik. What's your name? Yeah. Levi Yitzchak Cohen. Ah, that's right. We did meet in America. We're in Lakewood?
Yes.
Okay, very good. You see, I remember we met him in Lakewood. You see that? Not bad, not bad. Where's Avremi? Where's Avremi? You are. Oh, you're sitting on a seat. You know that. Yichap? You saw the standard? Look at the standard. Look under that Gemara. It says his name. Oh, they took they switched because of Gary. He's in Avelis. Okay, I got it. Says the Gemara. Vafilu hochi. Oh, yeah, sponsor. It happens to be a brand new sugi. Eric Adelman, Bigger Cup Consulting, and Chanie and Paul Schuster with Hakaras Hatov to Fishel. Hakaras Hatov is a big thing. Simcha and Ner Tamid for bringing rebellion MDY and DafYomi into our lives. Zoche the Gemara of Afilu hochi lo yisamach Rebbe Lazar Rebbe Shimon Adait. Let's go back. Rebbe Lazar Shimon, his job was to catch thieves, and he caught this launderer, and he said he's a bad guy, and they killed him, and he was very sad. But then he did this whole test. He did surgery on the stomach with anesthesia, did liposuction, took out fat. It didn't spoil. He said, "Okay, I'm good." Nevertheless, he was concerned that perhaps over the years he grabbed one of the tzaddikim and threw him into jail. An innocent person may be put away. He was very concerned. What about the test he did? Not so budget. He had a test. He passed the test with flying colors. His fat did not spoil in the hot sun. L'chayra, he's good. No. Still have to be careful. Kabbalah le Yisurei, he accepted upon himself Yisurim. Terrible pain. He begged the Kodesh Baruch Hu to give him those Yisurim so that it could be Metarim, it could be Mizakachim, it could get rid of for Kapara. But to have a Maichle Shitin Nimte. At night, so again, the Marsha says here and others say, every Shitin over here, every 60 is just a Lashon of many. It doesn't mean 60 literally. The whole sugi, you'll see it over and over. 60, 60, 60. Another Lashon of Guzma, 400, 360. Like that, the bird that laid an egg and it drowned 60 cities. 60 is a Lashon of Guzma. Was it 60, Ari? Oh, sounds. They gave him 60 blankets of felt, and in the morning they would take from underneath him shitin meshichle doma. Okay, he was very heavy. They would take from underneath him 60 basins of blood, vikeva, and pus that came out of the shchin that he accepted, and he asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu to give him every night. L'mochar of the leidevisu shitin mini lapta. His wife made him 60 foods made out of figs. V'achalu bari, you would eat it every morning, and you become healthy. Will they have a shafkalei devisu lemeibek lemeidrasha? This is an important line. Does the Gemara have a taina on her for this? She did not allow her husband to go to the base medrash. Why? That they shouldn't hurt him physically, mentally. They shouldn't attack him because Rabbanon, as we see later, were very upset at him. Many of their relatives died because of his job. He gave over Yidden to the authorities, and they died. Burta Omar Lahu. Listen to this, Rabbi Yisai. There's a lot of things we can learn from these Gemaras. A lot. From between the lines. Omar Lahu, Achai v'rei boyu. Omar Lahu, Achai v'rei boyu. He would say to his Yisurim, my beloved friends, my brothers, come. In other words, again, this is the musik of B'Makabel Yisurim B'Ahava. To say, Achai v'rei, not, oh Hashem, why me? But no, I understand that it's here to help me and to give me a kapara. And B'Tzafra, in the morning, Omar Lahu Zilu, get out of here, leave. So this was a cycle. Every night he would accept it upon himself, and it would come, he would have shchin, and he would bleed and pus. The morning he would recover and learn Torah. Yom Echad, Shomad Devisu, his wife overhears him, saying, Achei v'rayu, come, I accept it upon myself. Omer lei, I was wondering why every day it heals and at night it comes back. You're begging for it. Kalisa, Mamin Shal Beis Haba. We're getting supported by my father. All the money is going to all these blankets and food, 60 lapta, every day. Imarda, she rebelled. Osla Beis Nasha, she ran away. She went to her father's house. Sliku va'asu hanach shitin sapernoi. Says the Gemara, as soon as she left, 60, how do you call them? Sailors show up. Eli Shitin, again, the 60. Eli Shitin Avde, they brought 60 slaves. We have a Mamish Mefurish picture. But first, let's go to Taisus, because this has a little bit to do with it. It says Taisus, and again, this is to show the Olam that we learn every Taisus on the Amud when possible. Here is the picture. One of these happened. They made a shvuah that if the Hakadosh Baruch Hu of Rebbe Lazar B'Reb Shimon, they used his name. They said, if there is something called the Rebbeinu Shalom of Rebbe Lazar B'Reb Shimon, help us. They made an eder. V'shokad ruach. So no, Taisus explain. Why would 60 sailors show up? Okay, so his wife left him. 60 sailors. Because they had to do Hakaras Hatov. Again, the idea of Hakaras Hatov. So 60 sailors with 60 slaves, 120 people, show up with gold and food and everything. Support him. You thought you're going to go? The famous Ma'aseh of the Rizisha in the Journey song. Every day Rizisha would say, Rebbeinu Shalom, I'm hungry. The Shamash would give him food. One day the Shamash says, Rebbeinu Shalom, what Rebbeinu Shalom? It's me, I'm the one giving food. So he didn't give him food. That morning, Gvir pushed Rizisha into the mud. And he decided, he didn't realize, and after he realized, Zisha, so he has to pay him back, he has to do tshuva. So he comes with a phenomenal meal, big, sudas, Kishleim HaMelech B'Shaita shows up, and the Shamash couldn't believe it. He realized, yes, it is from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, you're supporting me, you're changing my linen, da-da-da. You don't do it, somebody else will do it. Why? HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bring a storm, they're going to say this, they're going to feel like HaKadosh, fine. They were holding 60 wallets. And again, the same amount of lapta, exact same amount that his wife did. I'm just paying attention now. Before it was also 60. Now it's 60. If you're Eved Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will provide you exactly what you need. You cannot take more, you can't take less. One day she wakes up, the wife, and you're like, we got to check on daddy. Zili, Baki Bavuch, go find out what's going on there. Michael Abida, what is he doing now? Asio, she comes, Omar Law, and he says to his daughter, Zili, Imri Limich, tell your mother, Shalonu Golem Shalem, I have more than what you had before. You think you left me? Garnish Metnisht, didn't help. Karya Nafshe, he said about himself. And we say this every Friday night. I wonder if anybody knows what they're saying. Haisa Ka'aniyah Soicher. What's Haisa? The Torah. Haisa Ka'aniyah Soicher, like ships of the merchants. Mimerchak Tavi Lachma. The Torah will bring the bread from afar. You don't know where it comes from, but if you learn Torah, you do the daf. The parnasa will come from a place you didn't even expect it. From Merchak. Ochal Ushasi Ubari. He ate, drank, and he became better. Nafak Lebei Midrasha. He went to the Beis Medrash. Why did he go to the Beis Medrash? Because his wife didn't prevent him from going there. She wasn't there. So the women came with 16 maros. Again, shitin might be a lashon of guzma, but it's a lot. We know that it's a lot from the following ma'isa. Tarini, he said, all these maros are all tar. Rabbanan didn't like this. What, all 60? It's impossible. What are the chances that 60 for 60 are tar? Less behu chad safik. You think there can't be even one out of the 60? That's a problem. Omar lahu im kamoisihu. If I am right, you kulam scharim. Then they should all give birth to banim scharim. V'mlav teina keva achs b'neim. And if not, there should be one female. Says the Maharsha, beautiful. A zocher doesn't have dam nida in him. So if they all give birth to scharim, that means there was no dam nida here. And if I was wrong, as a simon, there should be in a cave. Are you kulam scharim? Every single one of these children was a zachar. By Sikulu Rebbe Lazar al Shmei, and they named these children Lazar as Hakaras Hatov. Tayomer Rebbe, Kama Piri V'Ribya Bitlar Risha Zumi Yisrael Tu Pshatim Rashi. This Risha, this nation that made Rebbe Lazar Rebbe Shimon go catch robbers, because he was busy catching robbers, he couldn't give his psakim to these women. So this ma'aseh then, it's not such a great ma'aseh. We'll throw it out there because there was a Rav who was very makel. I'm just thinking about it now. It seemed like he had a way to be makel. There's 5 damnidas, and he said, these are not, nothing. But he was able to see there's a Rav they say here in Eretz Yisrael, that was very, very mekel. So somebody to test him gave him a real dam nida, 100% dam nida, and he's mekel, he's mater. And they realized that the guy is a joke. So kids, there's a difference between a joke and a non-joke. Said it over and when we learned the sugyas over there. But Ma'aseh Shaya, have a Koraner Rabbanan Abasrei. Oh, sorry. Tanya Amar Rebbe, Kama Piri V'Rebbe Bitlo Rishazu, because they made him be Isaac with the Ganav, then these people didn't have the heter, and Mamela there was less Piri V'Rebbe. There's another Pshat in Rashi that Rishazu is the wife that prevented Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon to go to the Beis Medrash. That's why she's a Rasha. But the Vilna Gaon takes it out. He says you have to be Moichet. Why? Because later on in the Sugya today, Rebbe wants to marry her. Why would Rebbe want to marry a Rasha? So it's the Ummah that's Rasha. When Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon was being nifter, he told his wife, I know that they're upset at me because some of their relatives died because of me. They're not going to deal with my burial nicely. I guess he didn't want to be machshel them in whatever they were going to do to him. Put me in the attic. Don't be scared of me. Rabbi Yonason's mother told me the Ishtar law, and she heard it first person from the Visa Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon, from the wife of Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon, who dealt with the body for between 18 and 22 years. Not less than 18, closer, between 18 and 22 years, he was up in the attic. When I would go up to the attic, I would look at his hair. When one of his hairs would fall out, blood would come out like a living person. I saw a crawling creature like a worm, the kanavik mu'une that was coming out of his ear. I said, now he's going to start rotting. He came to me in my dream. Don't worry about it. That's the thing. These small things you can take out of the sugya. I heard somebody being mezalzel in a Talmud Chacham, saying something not nice to the Talmud Chacham. I made a macha, but I didn't do a good one. I should have done a stronger one. Should have smacked him right in the face. I didn't. I said, maybe you shouldn't. No, it wasn't enough. Patch. I'm not saying patch. Whatever it means. And for that was my oynish. A worm came out of my ear, but I'm not rotting. When there was a Dintayra, two people, they would go to his gate. Omar Marmilsa, they would scream out the fight. And a certain sound, voice would come out from the attic. Omar ish plain at the chayiv, ish plain at the zakah. You're chayiv, you're potter. Interesting, because you find a few times in Shas that they would fight with neighbors. Over here, you're talking about the Rebbitzin. She's Rabbi Elazar ben Rav Shimon's wife, Almana. She's fighting with her neighbor. You should be like your husband. The neighbor tells the Rebbitzin, you should be like your husband. You should never be buried. Rabbanan didn't like that. This is not normal. Rav Shimon himself came in a dream. I have one chickling, one baby bird. Can't you bring him to my cave? Which is amazing because we're on the week of the yard side of Rav Shimon bar Yochai, and we're actually, his yard side is Hoyd Shebahoyd. We're in Hoyd already. We're 3 days away, and we're talking about his cave. Also, Rabbanan the Asuke Bey, Rabbanan wanted to bury him. L'Shavku B'nei Achbariya. I don't know if that's their name, the Achbar, but they didn't want to let, for good reasons. They had their own personal reasons. They liked the fact that he was in the neighborhood, not buried. The Chol Shnei, the Havinoim, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, Ba'alisei, for all those years, the 18 to 22 years, that he's up in the attic, the wild animals didn't come into their city and cause a lot of damage. They were protected. They didn't want to bury him. So they waited until Yom Kippur, where everybody have it treated, everybody's busy. So they sent another city that didn't have this problem with him. So they bring him to the cave of Shimon bar Yochai, Davua. There was what?
This year is like.
Yeah, exactly. I want to say that. This year, we also have a snake. Snake doesn't have to mean snake. Snake means we have Hezbollah, we have the army, we have reasons why we cannot get to the cave. 3 out of 5 years, by the way.
Today's, I think, the last day people.
It was the last day because I was with Yossi last night, and he had a driver. He hired a driver to drive him to the caver at 12 o'clock at night, and the guy said, "Sorry, they just closed down." We looked it up; it's closed already from last night. Done. Ashkechu. Oh, so it's mamish on the day, a kiss from Hashem. On the day that they shut down the caver, that nobody could get close to it. Ashkechu la'achno the hadra l'lemarso. There was a snake that surrounded the cave, and it had, Rashi says, it had its tail in its mouth, basically a complete circle. Get your tail out of your mouth. Because Ben Etzel Aviv, let the son go into the father. Pasach lehu. In fact, he allowed them in. Sholach Rebbe, huh? We have to daven. Oh, when the son comes back to the father, Ayin and Noam's Haggadah, Chelik Beis. Let the son come to the father. When we do tshuva, when we come back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Very nice. Best part today. Sholach Rebbe ledaber be'ishtoi. So Rebbe, the Gadol Adar, the one who wrote all the Mishnayos, wealthiest person in the generation, says, I want to marry the almana of Rebbe Lazar or Rebbe Shimon. Sholchalei, and she sent back a very sharp line. Kli shenishtamesh b'kodesh. A vessel that was used by holiness, yishtamesh b'chol, is going to be used by mundane. She called Rebbe mundane. The Sefer told us Chachmei Yisrael, he brings that the Ritva wanted to marry the wife of the Magid Mishnah. The Magid Mishnah's name was Yantif. The Ritva's name was Yantif. So she wrote back to him that Yantif Sheni is mundane derabanan klape de deraisa. She said that to the Ritva, a Rishon. And he said, very, very sharp. I don't know if he meant like, now I want to get married to you even more. Like, she's mamish a sharfa. Taman Amrin, in Eretz Yisrael, they use another kind of, they have a line that they say, Ba'asa the Mori Beisa Tola Zaine, where the king of the house hangs his tools, Kul Baraya, Kul Teitala, a low-life shepherd, a dirty shepherd is going to come there and hang his knapsack there. I'm the king of the house. I put my thing here. I'm going to let somebody else come. Shalach lo nihide b'toyer gadol mimeni. This is Moedik, these lines over here. So he tells the Dalmana, you're right, your husband was greater than me in Torah. But I'm greater than him in good deeds, in chesed. Shalchalei, b'toyer mi gadolcha. Oh, I love it. I didn't know about the Torah. I'm not the one to faher gdolim in Torah. But it's interesting. You just admitted that he was greater than you in Torah. So okay, we got that. That's resolved. Now let's talk about the Ma'asim Tovim. I can tell you what he was. But where am I? Shalchalei. B'Torah mi gadolcha lo yadana. That I didn't know. Thank you for telling me. The Ma'asim yadana. But he's greater than you, even in Maisim, to Kabbalah Ale Yisura. He himself asked for the Yisurim. But Torah Mai, how do we know that Rebbe Lazar or Rebbe Shimon was greater than Rebbe in Torah? The G'dayla Adar, Rebbe Shimon Gamliel and Rebbe Shimon Karcha were sitting on benches. Says Rashi, there's many Talmid Chacham present, but we mentioned the two G'dayla Adar. Yasvek Amai, Rebbe Lazar, Rebbe Shimon, Rebbe Ara. These are the two people we're speaking about now. Who's greater than who? Rebbe Lazar, Rebbe Shimon, and Rebbe were not as great as the G'dayla Adar. They were on the ground. However, Makshu Mefarku, they were asking questions and saying answers. Amri, so they said, the G'dayla Olam said, we're drinking from the waters. They're going to sit on the ground. Let's make some benches for them. Let's lift them up off the ground. So, just to show you again, this is the famous Hillel Zaken, Reb Shimon, Reb Gamliel. So all the way in the bottom we have Reb Yehuda Anasi, which is Rebbe. His father is Reb Shimon Gamliel. So his father, Reb Shimon Gamliel, who is the Gal Adar, we just mentioned, he sticks up for his son. He says, pray the achas, yesh li b'neichem. Like we said, Reb Shimon Bar Yochai said such a lashon. I have one chickling. You want to give him ayin hara, put him on a bench and say it's chashav. I got to be careful with him. So they took Rebbe, the son of Reb Shimon Gamliel, the Galadar, put him on the floor. Says the other Galadar, just because you're here and sticking up for your son Reb Shimon Gamliel, so he should live. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai was nifter already, so his son Reb Elazar Bar Shimon Yamos, he should die. They put Reb Elazar Bar Shimon on the ground. We have to understand this sugya from beginning to end. What does it mean I'm upset? What does it mean I'm makbid and he's greater than me, he's smaller than me? His mind got weak. What? They hold that Rebbe is as great as me. I'm much greater. Says the Gemara, I told you when I was a bacher in yeshiva, I used to ask my father questions in learning. So he'd say, we mean to ask Mardik. He'd say completely different things. He'd try to like boost me up. And this is a question for Rebbe Kiva Eger. You have to say it a little bit better. Okay. So anytime Rebbe asked the question, Rebbe Elazar Bar Shimon would jump in and he would say, and he would help him out. When Rebbe said, I have a question, Lashav means a question. Let me guess your question. It's a kind of simple question. It's a no-factor question. You probably want to ask this and this, right? Okay, this is the answer to your question. Before he even had the chance to say his question, next. You're asking questions that make no difference here. This is what Rebbe Elazar Bar Shimon tells Rebbe about his question. So he got very sad about it. Also, he told his father, Reb Shimon Gamliel, look, I'm a nothing in learning. He's Rebbe Elazar, the son of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. He's a lion, the son of a lion. That's why he's so great. Me, Reb Shimon Gamliel, I'm only a wolf, a fox. You're a lion, you're unbelievable, you're a lion, but you're the son of a fox. You can't reach his madrega and learn. So you see over here, who is greater in learning? Rebbe Elazar Bar Shimon was greater in learning. And in Maisim Toivim, in other things, I, the wife, know, there's Mekal myself Yisurim. I can't marry you. You're chol, klapi kodesh. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.